Have you ever wondered how deep we could actually dig into the Earth? Most people dream of digging to the center, but no one has ever gone that far. At just 1.8 meters, we reach the standard grave depth in Western culture. Go down to 4 meters, and you hit the depth of King Tutankhamun's tomb discovery. At 6 meters, that is the maximum depth metal detectors can pick up any hidden signals. At 12 meters, we find the deepest burrows ever dug by Nile crocodiles. At 20 meters, we arrive at the Paris Catacombs, a massive tomb for millions of people. Double that distance to 40 meters, and we see the deepest swimming pool on the planet.
If you jumped from the top, it would take nearly 3 seconds to hit the bottom.
At 100 meters, we hit the typical depth where governments bury their nuclear waste. Just a bit deeper, at 105.5 meters, is the world's deepest metro station in Kiev. At 122 meters, we find the deepest known point that a plant's roots have ever reached. This record belongs to a fig tree growing in the soil of South Africa. At 220 meters, we reach the deepest river in the world, the Congo River in Africa. At 240 meters, you can ride through the deepest railway tunnel in the world. This tunnel connects the Japanese islands of Honshu and Hokkaido beneath the seabed.
At 287 meters, you can drive through the deepest road tunnel located in Norway.
At 305 meters, you are still vulnerable to the B-82 Earth-penetrating nuclear warhead. This weapon is designed to destroy structures deep beneath the surface. At 392 meters, we arrive at the deepest water well ever dug by hand. This is the Woodingdean water well in the UK, completed back in 1862. At 603 meters, we reach something truly terrifying, the deepest vertical cave drop. Falling here would be higher than the One World Trade Center in New York. The fall would take over 11 seconds before you hit the bottom. At 700 meters, we reach the site where Chilean miners were trapped in 2010. At 970 meters, we find the deepest open-pit mine with an open sky above. This is the Bingham Canyon open-pit mine in Utah. It is so deep that you could fit the world's tallest building inside. At 1,410 meters, the deepest concert ever was held by the band Agonizer. At 1,642 meters, we hit the bottom of Lake Baikal, the deepest lake on Earth. At 1,857 meters, we reach the deepest part of the Grand Canyon. At 2,197 meters, we find the deepest known cave on Earth in Georgia. At 3,132 meters, we reach the bottom of the Moab Khotsong mine in South Africa. The elevator trip takes 4.5 minutes to reach the bottom. But if you fell from the top, it would take 25 seconds to reach the bottom. That is long enough to receive and miss an entire phone call. At 3,600 meters, we find the deepest point where a multicellular organism has been found. At 4,000 meters, we reach the deepest part of the deepest mine on Earth. The trip down takes over an hour to complete. The temperature at the bottom can reach a sweltering 66 degrees Celsius. At 6,000 meters, we reach the average depth of the oceanic crust. At 8,848 meters, we reach the height of Mount Everest if it were underground. At 10,994 meters, we hit the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the ocean's deepest point. Humans have actually dug significantly deeper than even this. At 11,887 meters, we reach the average altitude of a commercial airliner. At 12,262 meters, we reach the Kola Super Deep Borehole.
This was a Soviet project to drill through the Earth's crust. The temperature reached 180 degrees Celsius, too hot for the drill to continue. The hole is only 23 centimeters wide, so you cannot fall into it.
Finally, at 12,376 meters, we reach the Z44-Chavio oil and gas well.
This is the equivalent of stacking 15 Burj Khalifa towers on top of each other. It is the deepest hole humanity has ever dug into our planet.